Across the Flow FM network, a Flow News 24 update.
Here at the Flow News desk, we turn our attention to agriculture, and one of the important stories for Victorian farmers has been the proposed government VNI transmission project through the north central part of Victoria, and taking a line from St Arnaud up through Charlton. And that particular proposal has drawn the consternation of local farmers who've protested in town. They've been to Canberra, but now there's a protest on Tuesday, the 15th of August at Spring Street outside of Parliament House, organised by Glendon Watts, one of the farmers in that community at Canberra Bridge near Charlton. And their protest is relating to the lack of consultation. Here's Glendon Watts and a little bit about his farm and what they do and why he's concerned about his livelihood.
I've been back on the farm about 10 years now, and my farm's been passed down through. I'm the seventh generation, so the Wattses settled here back in, going to test the memory, 1864, I believe it was. They settled here and farmed here ever since. We're predominantly broadacre cereal cropping and sheep operations sort of thing. So, we've been here forever and come down through the family. And, I've got a young family now, and my wife and I are building a house on the family farm. And, we're going to be here for the next, for the rest of my working career sort of thing. And hopefully my kids will take it on, and hopefully it's here for another 7+ generations. But it's things like this that make it really difficult and, potentially going to affect the viability of our businesses and how we run them and how we operate them. And, I think everyone knows that farming's hard enough as it is without added implications and things like this that just, are going to ruin the community. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully we can continue the farm going forward.
And Glendon Watts goes into detail about how the farmers have been overridden. In their words, the ministerial orders that Daniel Andrews has put in place to push this project ahead is like a railroading of this project without the consultation necessary for farmers. There are a whole range of issues, including aerial spraying and aerial firefighting with a massive VNI or transmission line going through, the restrictions that will place on the farmers through their own properties and the easements that will have to take place, and they're concerned about those matters.
The actions of the government putting through ministerial orders to fast track it and block things so that they can rush it, that's not democracy, full stop, end of sentence, So I guess if this was to go through, the unknowns, there's still a lot of unknowns, AMO or TCV, whoever you want it to be, whoever they want it to be. They come to the community, but they don't let much on, and it's always very smoke and mirrors. That might exist, and it depends on this, depends on that. So, we're looking at anything from easements, limitation of what we can and can't do around, under, beneath. A big one is the fire, limitations of fighting fire near the transmission lines and stuff like this, not using aircraft. Like aircraft's a big part of what we do, especially, years like last year it was quite wet. You need aircraft to, manage our crops and diseases and stuff like that. Even access to our properties, biosecurity, they're going to be people having 24/7 access whenever they want onto our properties. And, the list goes on and on and on of what we could face if it goes through.
And Glendon Watts goes into some detail about the increased interest from farmers and others about their concern that the renewable energy projects and wind farms and their transmission lines are not necessarily as environmentally friendly as what may be claimed, and many are becoming more aware of this.
People are becoming more aware. There's more media around the whole renewables, that sort of thing, more questions being asked, and people are kind of becoming aware that the whole clean energy is not as clean and green as what what's been marketed to, I suppose. So, we're going down to Spring Street and we're going to push the fact that this is not the best option. That this is going to ruin our environment, our families, our farms, our livelihood, and that there's alternatives on the table. As you would have heard, and your listeners would have heard, the release of Plan B there last week before. It's utilising existing infrastructure, upgrading existing infrastructure with existing easements, that sort of thing, has no additional or minimal additional effects. Whereas the VNI West WRL, brand new everything, So our message is that we want to stop the towers, that we need to look at alternatives, and that we need to be focused on a clean transition, a green transition, not not the existing one.
So that was Glendon Watts on our Country Viewpoint program. He's got a very strong point, and a lot of people supporting him and the other farmers and community groups in the north central parts of Victoria, who are very concerned about what the Andrews Labor government is doing in pushing forward this transmission link to take the renewable energies into the western part of Victoria and to interconnect to the New South Wales interconnector through Kerrang. There are concerns, and they're concerns that we'll see a protest on Tuesday the 15th of August outside of the Victorian Parliament House in Spring Street.
A Flow News 24 update.